So, I've been told that my poem is a bit hard to read. Perhaps because it uses some big words and they're a little more complex than people usually read these days. So, I thought I will read it out. So, here's Conversation with a God by Oli Zing, me. What's the meaning of life? Asked the God. With all paths closed to magnificence and ambitions downtrod, all those who came with you sadly long ago fled, and your hopes flew away with the last drop that bled. I breathe still, I wake up, I eat, sleep and shit, and moments fly by into light-filled days bit by bit. My viewpoint is thus framed by sensations and sound, so my meaning of life is what keeps coming round. How can that be meaning, if all 'tis such passing of time with no effort, of space without lasting? How can life have value, serendipitously placed, light in sensations no ambition has graced? Meaning is, of course, life, not the other way round. Whether joy, peace, or strife in such living is found. Depth of experience even just in my head is how I find meaning when I don't rise from bed. Well, let me rephrase that, or try out a new word, for your view of meaning is profoundly absurd. What value has your life if ambitions are dead? Or you don't seem to care if you get out of bed? The value is living. The value is in thought. In imagination such ambitions are wrought. A path cannot begin before one foot is stepped. But to make sure you don't stumble, you first have to be prepped. You already did that. Sadly, failed in the task. You make light my questions and don't give what I ask. What meaning has your life now your fortunes have crashed? What value remains now when all hopes have been smashed? I'm low and forsaken, I so sorely admit, but don't think I'm forlorn, for I've dealt with this shit. I'm quiet and thinking, well cocooned in my space, transforming in quiet to replenish my grace. And what then will you do when your grace is refound? Will you throw to the wind? Will you scatter around? Will you dig yourself deep or falter at first square? Will you stand tall and bright or give in to a scare? I'll believe in myself. Oh, I've just lost my place. I'll believe in myself as a view of the all. I'll smell deep of the air so my lungs can enthrall the cells of my body to wake up and thus thrive, aspiring with glory and just being alive. So, your meaning of life is just so to exist, to enjoy being here without making a list. No big dreams to fulfill or vast goals to achieve. I'm finding that notion a tad hard to believe. Believe what you want to. It's the truth of my life. I've been through the trouble. I stood up to the strife. I cozied through darkness and well seeded my bliss. The meaning of life for me right now is just this. I'll enjoy what I can for as long as it lasts. I'll live in my present and let go what has passed. I'll watch well and observe and thus savor my days moment by moment in many beautiful ways. It's an aim, it's a goal, it's a meaning I find. You're no longer shallow, you have opened your mind. You're finding the union with all, You're finding true union with all things that still are. You've unpeeled the onion to discover your star. Well, thanks for the support and your vindication. You are such a good sport. With consideration, for my predicament is small when it's compared with the vast things you do. I'm surprised that you cared. Well, I'm not always seen, But I do always observe and admire how you find the courage and the nerve to keeping on so despite such assailments, and rise up to each day through many derailments. Not much like I've had choice in such matters, you know, but you made such a fine world that it's hard to let go. The god then smiled so wide that he warmed up her face, and she could not but feel so at home in the space. Forgive me for my bad eyesight that I can't even read my own words without stumbling a little bit, but I hope we got through it, so I hope that makes sense of the words if you find it a bit too long or hard to read in these days and times. Blessings to all.